An empire crumbled, and its last remnants were ushered away with little more than a chance for survival. After agonizing years of tragedy, manipulation, and destitution, these remnants finally prepared to make their return and take back all they had lost. But first, they required an army. And though the great conquest envisioned in restless nights past did not come to fruition as originally imagined, the Stormborn found her rightful place as matriarch of a loyal force. Throughout her travels, she rode atop a steed of both great value and meaning. This was the Silver. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Exploring Fiction. A gift from a husband originally reviled, the Silver represented the near-divinity of Daenerys Targaryen, especially amongst the Dothraki and other eastern peoples she both befriended and conquered. The horse was a beautiful steed for a woman worthy of not just praise, but admiration. It drew the eyes of a crowd to the rider atop its back, and through its calm temperament, stolid spirit, and pristine beauty, it echoed Daenerys and her image in Essos. So, why is the Silver so important? And does its inclusion in the story have a deeper meaning? Let's explore. The Silver was a mare born between 294 and 298 AC in the Dothraki Sea. Of course, since horses are not given traditional names by the Dothraki, it is simply dubbed the Silver by Daenerys once she receives it. The horse is a grey mare with a silver mane, though its coat shines brightly enough to appear as though it is completely covered in the glittering metal sheen. The Silver first appears in A Song of Ice and Fire in the first novel, A Game of Thrones. Outside the city of Pentos, Daenerys Targaryen, the displaced and final member of the Great Westerosi dynasty, awaits her marriage to the Dothraki Khal Drogo. At their wedding, Drogo presents her the Silver as a gift, and though Daenerys has little experience on horseback, the steed immediately forms a bond with her new rider. As Drogo's great band of warriors and followers traverse the Dothraki Sea, Daenerys remains at his side atop her Silver, learning from her horse and eventually moving to a litter because of her pregnancy. Though the great champion Khal Drogo soon suffers a mortal wound, Daenerys atop her Silver rallies those still loyal to her and to Drogo, and thus the embers of her armies begin to smolder. In A Clash of Kings and A Storm of Swords, the Silver continues to stand as the steed for Daenerys Targaryen, especially as the Stormborn's fame and infamy rise in unison. From Qarth to Astapor to Yunkai to Meereen, the Silver Mare sits as a shining example, both literally and figuratively, of the beauty and near-divinity of which Daenerys' armies and devoted followers see her as she crusades across the continent. She parades through these cities as a legitimate and legendary threat to the traditions of old, breaking the chains of slaves and overthrowing the cruel masters. Daenerys presents a messianic figure to the freed slaves, a shimmering woman atop a gleaming silver horse, and they cry out to her and bow to their new master, now out of loyalty rather than suffering. And though unofficial, the Silver once again will appear in The Winds of Winter, this time as the steed for Sir Barristan Selmy, as he fights as leader of Daenerys' armies, after the Stormborn herself has fled after the assassination attempt at Daznak's pit. Though not nearly as intelligent or influential as the Stark direwolves or Targaryen dragons, the Silver Mare is not as much of an afterthought as she may seem. The Silver signifies an aspect of her rider, Daenerys Targaryen, and how the Stormborn is perceived, especially by her legions of devoted followers. A gift from Khal Drogo, the Silver at first is an unfamiliar yet stable presence in the tumultuous life of Daenerys. The future Mother of Dragons is forced into a marriage to a foreign warlord, but she quickly begins to appreciate and adore the Khal. And just like Drogo, the Silver Mare becomes a constant in Daenerys' life. But Drogo soon suffers mortal wounds, an eventual demise at the hands of warriors and witches, and the silver is the last living memory Daenerys has of the husband she never wanted, but yet had come to love. After the passing of the Khal, the silver takes on a new, symbolic meaning, even as Daenerys grows in both physical and mental might. The Stormborn parades across Essos, first floundering for allies, and then embarking on a righteous crusade, and it is all atop the silver. Her steed draws attention to her rider, and while foes look upon Daenerys and her horse as gleaming, detestable enemies, the freed slaves and downtrodden individuals that make up her followers idolize her. Upon the silver, they see Daenerys as a deific figure, a foreign emancipator come to set things right. Unlike the skittish horses of all others, who cower at the roar of dragons, the silver remains calm, grand, and stoic to match her rider, presenting a demeanor worthy of a queen. Similarly, the silver is never dirtied by the filth of the eastern climate of Essos, and instead remains sleek and shining. This only adds to Daenerys' image, and along with the dragons and Unsullied at her back, leaves little question of the reasons for her veneration amongst commoners. From the gift of an unexpected partner to the steed which bore a conquering queen, the Silver Mare remained at the side of Daenerys Targaryen throughout the majority of A Song of Ice and Fire. At first, the horse represented Drogo's dedication to his wife, but after his untimely demise, she stood for much more. She bore on her back a queen, a crusader, a lone beacon of hope for many downtrodden folk. The silver only added to Daenerys' noble aura, and, at least amongst the queen's followers, elevated her status to that of one worth dying for. To many, when Daenerys sat atop the back of the silver, she appeared called to rule. So, that's all for this video. Leave a comment with your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new here. I'd love to have you. Visit my website, russellawellsauthor.com, for exclusive reviews, fiction, and more. And sign up for my mailing list for free exclusive content. The links for both are in the description below. And, like always, I will see you next time.